of the district. This is a slide that we've all seen before. This is a history of our fund balances where revenues have exceeded expenses. That's a good thing because we've used that money to provide a fund for future construction, which we're drawing down now, and I'll show you the details of that as we go through it. But as you can see back in 2013-14, we had revenues exceeding expenses by about $14.5 million. Unfortunately, that trend is going downward through the years. As we look at last school year, 2022-23, you see that number's in the red. We actually ended last school year with a deficit of a little over $300,000. Fortunately, we think we're bouncing off the bottom, and our estimate for this current school year is that we're going to end the school year with about a $1.3 million positive balance. So revenues exceeding expenses by about $1.3 million. So that's a good thing because we need to start providing for future construction, particularly at the elementary level. Dr. O'Donnell talked about selling the Siemens property. That was one of the things that we had, it was a linchpin as we were providing and developing a plan for full-day kindergarten because selling that property would yield maybe $100 million worth of revenue for the school district to build a new 5th, 6th grade center. And with that, we would be able to pull all the 5th graders out of our elementary schools, convert Marsh Creek into a 5th, 6th grade center, and really provide enough space at the elementary level for at least the next 10 years, maybe longer, dealing with our demographics and our enrollment projections. If you remember as well as about this time last year when we talked about a plan for full day K, we said, we need to provide for about $7 million of staffing for funding full day K in 2028-29, and we would need 5 years at least of 3.5% tax increases to get to that goal. And again, that goal was full day K in 28-29. So as we talk about the Siemens property a little bit, you remember this past fall, Audubon terminated their sales agreement as they were allowed to do as per the terms. So again, we lost about $96.25 million in potential revenue there. And the hard thing about this that we had to readjust our sites is because of this reduction, and we're working with the township, Euclid Township, it doesn't appear that we're going to be allowed to build warehouses or for distribution. So that is going to limit some of the things that we can do with the property. Our estimates now are that if we would sell the property tomorrow, it would still be 4 to 5 years before we would see substantial money coming out of the property because of planning has to go involved going through the zoning processes, the planning commissions, getting all the approvals that a contractor would need. So we have to readjust our timeline. So that's why we are thinking a delay in the 5-6 center construction is pretty inevitable at this point. So, but not off the table. So again, last year at this time, this is a picture that we showed the board. Again, on the left side is our declining fund balances, revenues exceeding expenses, but on a declining rate. And as we look into 2023-24, we see our current year projection, 1.3 million. And then, again, we looked at tax increases of about 3.5% for each year for 5 years. And then the far right in 2028-29, when we were originally proposing to open full-day kindergarten, we would have about $7 million available to pay for the salaries and benefits of the staff of a new 5-6 center. So we have to adjust our timeline and our thinking for full-day K. So this caused us to pivot, and we are going to focus on the right side of the screen this time. So again, we still have $1.3 million for our projection for 2023-24. And what we're proposing for tonight is a tax increase of 3.9% for next year. That'll give us a projected fund balance of about 4.2 million. And we'll talk about that a little bit more. We hope to do a little bit better because we need that money for, again, elementary construction in the future. Then moving on to the second year of our analysis, 25-26, that would be the new year of implementation for full day K, as Dr. O'Donnell said. So a good 3 years before we talked about it, as 3 years before our plan, as we talked about it last year at this time. And then in 2026-27, again, we're looking at a tax increase of 2.9% instead of 3.5%. So a downward trend, a good downward trend on our millage rate projections. And again, we would need a little bit of money from 2026-27 to fund our full day K.
Dave, while you're on that one, I think the key for anybody watching these and comparing the two different plans, why is the staffing so much lower to do full day K this way? Building a new school, we would have to hire all the non-core classroom teachers beyond what we're hiring now for full day K, because we would be offering things besides the core academic areas, including all of our encore programs, obviously providing school counselors for students, nursing services,